BAND-MAID are back, and let's get the dad jokes out of the way first of all, shall we? Are you ready to rock? Because we've got a scoop for you. Yeah, okay. I couldn't even get through that without feeling a bit bad. All right, so anyway, I just thought I'd get ahead of those dad jokes because I'm sure they're going to start appearing online quite a lot in the comments and everything. Anyway, look, I wanted to talk to you guys about this the minute I saw this news because this is something that I don't think it came out of left field. It's not like any of us are surprised that this is happening, but it's something that I'm personally really excited about because, you know, we've had that run of singles recently. We've had What Is Justice, ZEN, Ready to Rock. In fact, the Ready to Rock like the live official music video came out, I think around about the same time they made this announcement a few hours ago earlier today. And, you know, I am sure that we were all expecting something to come out, but it's nice to see this because as much as we all get excited about live concert news, for me, it's these moments when we can see new materials coming. That's when I get really excited because I think this is a chance to hear brand new songs and hear the latest creative things they've produced, their latest creative juices flowing. And so let's jump in and see a little bit more about what they have announced, starting with social media. Of course. So here, they say SCOOOOP is going to be out on October the 22nd. That's not even far away. This is quite soon, you know, a couple of months from now. Obviously, they mentioned here about the Ready to Rock live full video being available. Obviously, they've been doing this incredible tour that I was lucky enough to see them. And I know some of my followers saw them on going around Japan this year. And, you know, they're obviously, you know, sort of showing off this amazing cover first of all. Now, we're going to have a little look also on their page at the track list. But can I just say before we get into the track list and the contents of the album, I really like this cover. I think this cover is awesome. Now, I really enjoyed the cover as well for Epic Narratives. I thought it was very artistic. But whereas that was kind of like a canvas which had all kinds of things going on and it was very sort of busy, it also kind of didn't have much of a central focal point. It was one of those ones where it was kind of pretty, but I don't know if it necessarily made like an epic cover for me. This kind of gives me a little bit of a callback to things like the Domination music video I was thinking of. And obviously the Domination music video, kind of a lot of those reds and whites and blacks and dare I say kind of borderline Soviet kind of look to it. It was definitely going for that kind of authoritarian look, but it was very visually cool. It was punchy. I love that music video. And a lot of the artwork, they still, when they do the live performances of Domination, they still have that come up on the back screens with all of that kind of those little video cut-ins, which are really cool. And this, in a way, kind of reminded me that again. It's got like slightly Art Deco-esque vibe, I'd say, with the blimps. I'm kind of thinking, you know, again, I'm thinking early 20th century, and you've got the newspapers. Who's used print media recently? Hey, shall we just... But I love that. That's also something their recent posters on tour have had that kind of design. In fact, I actually think that is the... can we zoom in on that? Can we zoom in a little bit there? I think that is actually the exact same thing that they used for their tour poster. It looked a lot like this. Yeah, BAND-MAID Tour 2025 looked a lot like that. Oh, wow, we can really zoom in. I don't think that we need to zoom in this far, but let's do it anyway. There we go. Yeah, this is exactly what their tour poster actually looked like. So that's really cool. In fact, actually, wait, look. Yeah, it's even got the tour date. I like that. It's actually got the tour dates are on. This is the poster. They got the tour dates are on their cover. I don't think I've ever seen a band put their tour dates on the cover before. That's awesome. I didn't even think that was what it was. I thought it was just designed to look like the tour poster. But yeah, they've actually got their tour dates are on their cover. I want to zoom in. What other stuff is going on here now? But anyway, yeah, so basically I really like the art style of this. I think it's much more punchy. The name SCOOOOP is very cool. One-way ticket to the rocks, nice. It's got like, and there you go, you can see it again. The name SCOOOOOP's very cool. I think it's one of those names where, you know, I sometimes think about this when we see bands who do titles of songs that have multiple exclamation marks or like lengthy, you know, repeat letters. You often think, is that going to be difficult for people to Google? Or is it, I mean, let's face it, if you just use the word scoop on its own, the word scoop is going to come up a lot on Google. So I guess if all your fans know that they have to type the letter O 5 times, then that'll help search. But it also makes it a little bit more difficult if you're someone who's not into BAND-MAID and you find them for the first time. But still, it's one of those titles where I think as a title, looks really cool. I think it's punchy on the album cover. This is all great. So really liking this aspect of SCOOOOOP. It's a cool cover. Really cool cover. Enjoy that. Now, let's jump into a little bit more. Let's get beyond. Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge an EP by its cover either, eh? Although that is a damn good start if we did. Now, as mentioned, the 3 singles that we've heard so far, they have all been tie-ins to animes, which means that when I did my individual reviews of those, I was kind of reviewing them as such. You know, a lot of people talk about anime theme tunes. Oh, anime theme tunes have to be done to order and everything. I think that's a bit of an old-fashioned view, but there's an element of truth to that. So, you know, when we listen to those 3 songs we've had, Zen, What Is Justice, and Ready to Rock, I felt they still very much sounded like BAND-MAID songs to me. But I think if someone asks you to do a theme tune to an anime, and you are a band who's quite well established, you'll probably find that that company is coming to you very aware of what your sound is and deliberately coming to you because they want your sound. It's not like a solo singer who usually works with staff writers. This is a band who writes their own songs. So if you're going to come to them and say, hey, we want a BAND-MAID theme tune, you're going to expect them to do a BAND-MAID song. And I think that BAND-MAID somewhat oblige by always delivering songs that, you know, they never sound too experimental. They never sound too far outside of the BAND-MAID core sound. Now, admittedly, they've been very different. I think What Is Justice, Zen, and Ready to Rock have all had their very clear identities and been very different from each other. But they all sound like very, I don't want to say safe, but definitely core BAND-MAID sound songs. And this is why I'm kind of excited about what we get on the rest of this album. Because, well, it's an EP, but it's 8 tracks. You know, it's 8 tracks. It's like, it's too short to be an album, but it's longer than a lot of the mini albums we've been seeing recently, which are like 5 or 6 tracks. This is nice in that safe spot where it kind of feels more like they've just written the number of songs they had on their tray at that time. They were like, okay, this is how many songs we got. Feels like it's ready to come out, and that's what they've released it as. It doesn't feel like it was something where they're like, oh, okay, we need to write a whole album, so let's write enough songs. And it doesn't feel like one of those things where it's like, oh, well, let's just put out a couple of singles and then just put a couple of songs between them. This feels nice. We got 3 songs and we got 5 songs, 3 singles and 5 songs we have not heard yet. Looking at them, Present Perfect is the opener. Present Perfect, obviously a little bit of an English language reference there. I don't know exactly what that's going to mean tenses wise, but hey, that's cool. That might even be an intro. It might even be like an instrumental like we had with it's the Unleash EP that starts the instrumental, isn't it? And I thought that was a really cool idea, putting an instrumental front and center. I much preferred that to having an instrumental as the last track on Epic Narratives. That actually was something, I love that album, but I've said, and most people disagree with me, but I think ending an album on an instrumental is a really bad idea. I don't like that. I think the end of the album should kind of like be the crescendo that sums up everything that happened before. So having a whole member missing is not a cool idea, in my opinion. But like when Unleashed, when it starts with an instrumental, I thought that was an awesome idea because it's like, the instrumental was almost like the intro. It's like building you up and getting you ready. Anyway, I don't know what Present Perfect is going to be, but it's sitting there right before 2 singles, Ready to Rock, What Is Justice. So we already know this album's going to kick off with a fair old blast. Now, I'm interested by this, all caps, Super Sunshine. That sounds happy. That's kind of got like a summer drive vibe to me. Now, again, I am completely just spitballing what I know. If anyone's seen the interviews where I give anything away, hey, maybe let us know. But do you know what? Actually, I'll wait till I do my reactions when this comes out before I want too many hints on what the song's like. But I get the feeling this could be a kind of bubbly, upbeat song. And dare I say it, I kind of feel like BAND-MAID, for a band who have so much variation, they've kind of done everything, from Start Over to, sort of the more bubbly songs. They got like a whole range of songs in their back catalogue. But I feel of recent, I don't feel like I had quite so many just full-on happy songs. So in a way, I feel like this maybe has something like that. Maybe Super Sunshine could be that. No idea what Cyan is. Track 5. Sion, no idea what that is. Dilly Dally, that's just a fun title. Then we got Zen, great. And then Lock and Load, that doesn't sound like a ballad. So I get the feeling this album is going to end, Zen, and then a track called Lock and Load. I feel like this is going to end with a bit of more of a blasting ending. I think we're going to go out on a really energetic note. So we kind of know the album's going to start on an energetic note, assuming Present Perfect follows with the 2 tracks that are after it. And we know it's going to go out on an energetic note. So I'm kind of interested about this soft, warm center that the mini album EP thing has. I don't know what direction it's going to go in, but as I've said, the 3 tracks we've heard so far have been singles. I'm not going to say they're prescriptive, but they've definitely written as singles. They were written to represent the BAND-MAID sound to a wider audience, which is kind of what a single is. It's kind of like your advert for what you are, so that people can follow it back to your albums, EPs, and hear a little bit more of what else you can do. And that's what I'm hoping this is. Ready to Rock, What Is Justice, Zen, rock tracks. I hope they're bringing us into an EP that will showcase some more of their variation, which in the best albums, this is why... my favorite album, as a lot of you know, despite maybe some mixing and mastering problems, I really love Conqueror. That's like my favorite album thus far. And, Epic Narratives, it seems I liked that a lot more than other people did, despite my comment about the last track, because these 2 albums for me demonstrate some interesting variation. And, they have other albums like that, but I think those are the 2 albums, especially Conqueror, that have just shown how capable they are of doing so many other things. And, we've heard them also show variation sometimes in places that are not on the albums. I mentioned Start Over earlier, things like About Us. It's just a band who, they have a lot of ability to surprise you with those kind of moments of quirky variation, and that's what I hope we get a little bit of here. Things like having Super Sunshine track 4 with that big capital letters title, that could be one of those. Again, we have no idea, but this is my vibe. There will be a disc 2, which is going to be a Blu-ray featuring an instrumental video of Ready to Rock, Zen, and What Is Justice. Now, that to me is kind of intriguing, because I think with that is like instrumental video. Is that going to be like, you guys might remember it was on the BAND-MAID Prime thing. When was this? I think it was again around when Unleashed came out. They were releasing some instrumental videos. I'm wondering if it's going to be that kind of thing again, just like a blank room. They stand in, they play the songs, because of course BAND-MAID know a lot of their fans are hardcore musos. Twiddle fanatics. And so this would be like a place where they will get to sort of sit there and drool endlessly at watching Konami band guitar solos, and also having that sort of wonderful Misa bass on display. I'm a big Akane fan, #NoBias. It's kind of cool to see those things as well. Multi-channel compatible. I have no idea what that means. I do not have a Blu-ray player. But hey, I guess it means it's available everywhere. Yeah, you can see a few more things here. First pressing limited edition. Seems to be that, and there's a DVD. Then you got standard version with the CD. And early reservation bonus is the 2025 opening SE Searing CD. So you get like an extra CD? I don't know what that means. Anyway, there you go. I'm learning at the same time you are. They're talking about having, like, there's obviously, if you go to various shops in Japan, you get different things. You'll probably find this when you're downloading as well. Downloading when you're buying online. So HMV is going to have a can magnet, which is like one of those bottle cap magnets, I think, which will be a special one. CD Japan, Neo Wing in Japan, they'll have a clear file folder, and you get a postcard with Pony Canyon's shop. That's kind of cool. So yeah, there's some nice little bonuses there for those of you who I'm sure are here, who are going to want to spend the extra on the special editions. And yeah, lovely. They put all the links there as well. So this is cool. I am super excited about SCOOOOP. I think the singles have been great. For me, if the other tracks on the album show, make it feel like an album, show the variation, do what BAND-MAID do at their best and take you on a journey, then that's going to be great. And something about having Zen, one track from the end, having Ready to Rock and What Is Justice, one track from the beginning, it makes me feel like this album's got a bit of room for some variation in the middle, that's what I'm really looking forward to. When I do my reaction to this, obviously I'm going to be excited about the beginning, I'm going to be excited about the end, but there's a part of me which is really excited about this middle and what's going to happen in here. So there you go. Those are my thoughts. As always, get in the comments, tell me what you think, tell me what you're hopefully excited about. I hope you guys are looking forward to this as much as me. This is all just theorizing at the moment, so none of us need to be super confident, but hey, it's a fun time to talk to people. It's a fun time to hear what other people think, share a little bit of fan excitement, fan theories. So get in the comments, tell me what you think, and until I hopefully see you very soon in Japan for the next one of these, for now, there's the button. Ciao, ciao. That has been left on the side way too long.